Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, wherever and whenever you are joining us. Welcome to our latest edition of What Caught My Eye, or WCME Sports. As always, I am your host, the coach Nick Vesci, joined by the boy Stephen Vesci.
What up?
And the man Stephen Comlow.
Hello.
Now, if you're new to our show, we like to think of ourselves as the sports show for sports fans about sports. We like to focus on what happens inside the lines of competition rather than the outside noise, which dominates much of our sports headlines and discussion nowadays, unfortunately. Before we get to our top catch for the evening, just a reminder to follow us on all of our social media. That's at WCME_sports on Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, Snapchat, Threads, X. Am I missing anything?
Probably.
I think that's all of them.
Probably.
I'm sure. Allegedly.
It's a big list.
Yes. All of our shows drop every Wednesday at noon on Spotify, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. And all that information can be found on our website, WCMEsports.com. Now, without further ado, we get into our top catch for this week. And this week we went with Shohei Ohtani, the best baseball player in the world.
Yeah.
Possibly the best human being to ever play the game of baseball in the history of baseball, right? You can't say he's the greatest player ever because then that brings a whole longevity, things like that into it. But I think it's safe to say at this point he is probably the greatest human to ever play baseball. Yeah. The best, right? If you look at it that way. And his performance in Game 4, the series-clinching Game 4 of the NLCS for the Dodgers over the Brewers in their sweep to advance to the World Series for the second straight year. In that game, Ohtani started as the pitcher on the mound. He went 6 innings of no-run ball, struck out 10, which is remarkable in and of itself in the playoffs against the Brewers, who are a team that puts the ball in play a lot and who had the best record in all of Major League Baseball, right? To go with that, though, on the flip side, on the offensive side, he went 3 for 3 with a walk and 3 home runs, which, has many people labeling that performance as the greatest individual performance in the history of Major League Baseball because he was essentially perfect on the mound and perfect in the batter's box.
He won the game by himself.
Yes. Yeah. Literally the rest of his team could have struck out every single time they were up, and the Dodgers still would have won by at least 3 runs with his 3 home runs, right? It is a remarkable thing. One of the bigger things I think of that's remarkable from the home run standpoint, right? The pitching thing, you just look at that on its own and say, it's a really good postseason performance, right? Then you combine the hitting and it makes this thing electric and just insane. But the hitting part, the 3 home runs he hit, each individual one in and of itself was remarkable because the first one was lefty on lefty. I believe it was a breaking ball that he stayed in on. Didn't pull out, didn't give up on the pitch because it probably started at his shoulder or behind. Stayed in on it and hit it 450 feet to straightaway right field. The second one was a kind of slider little cutter thing that if you watch it from the view of the ump cam, you can see it kind of pop out of the pitcher's hand. Even though on the strike zone it was fairly off the plate, you can see that he was able to identify that pitch immediately the way it popped out of the pitcher's hand. And he turns on this and hits this. I think that ball is still going. I don't think it stopped rolling yet because he hit it so damn far. I think it went out of the stadium.
Actual ravine. It went into actual Chavez ravine,
which is insane. That, literally, that's one of the furthest home runs I've ever seen hit. I don't care about StatCast or whatever. That is just ridiculous home run. But then the third one, he inside outed a fastball to essentially straightaway center, little left center, for over 400 feet. That's to combine all 3 of those things
in the night in Dodger Stadium.
Yes, against the best team in baseball, who had the best pitching all year.
Yeah,
did this too.
And the second the sun goes down in Dodger Stadium, almost the marine layer kind of comes in.
Ball doesn't carry.
The ball doesn't go. Yeah, it doesn't carry at all.
And
so it's pretty incredible. That's a special human being.
Yeah, 100%.
No one should be able to do this.
And no. I think I work with a lot of people who are Dodgers fans, and I don't think after going up 3-0 that Dodgers fans had any doubt they were going to win, but they were all saying that Shohei either needed to pitch lights out or needed to get his bat going, because up until that game, his bat in the postseason hasn't really been what you see in the regular season, right? And it was hard for him to get. It's been hard for him to get hits, and so then, but for him to come into this game and just not just have a lights out night on the mound, but then to just mash the ball the way he did, to see the ball the way he did too, because I mean he got a walk too, so he was always in play. But yeah, that was an insane performance. I could not wait to get to work to talk to people about that.
I wonder if him pitching helped correct some of his hitting, because it unleashed the beast, right? Basically, no holds bar, no, like, just go, right? And just not think of anything but just playing baseball purely. I wonder if him getting on the mound and having that leash to go 6 innings helped him.
Well, do you think them also being up 3-0 helped as well?
Yeah, maybe that's possible.
It takes some pressure, but there's still pressure because
the job's not done.
Exactly, it can change like that.
I'd love to see the splits though of when Ohtani pitches, how well does he hit? Because I feel like when he does pitch and hit, like he's goes nuts.
Efforting.
It's a great day at the plate. So I would love to see the splits. I mean, odds are it's probably very similar because there's so many. Baseball just has so many opportunities that everyone sits and like has their averages. But I feel like when he pitches, he hits better.
I feel like that too, but maybe just because it's more magnified. Like when he does hit well, when he pitches, it's like, holy shit, this is insane. I will say I looked up a couple things with him today. His 162 game average. So I love looking at that because it's like, if on average you played every game in a season, what would your stats be, right? So on average, he has, I think it's 5.6 offensive WAR per 162 games and 5.5 pitching WAR per 162 games. So if he were to be healthy the whole year and played, well, again, this is average. So he's never played 162 games, right? But obviously, if you combine them, that's what
he's
11.1 WAR per year, right? Which is just to put in context. A 10 WAR season is one of the greatest seasons you could like ever have. Like you'd be, I think, top 50 or something in the history of baseball. So literally, he averages a top like 10 year in the history of baseball per WAR. Averages. That's what he averages across his career. Now, obviously, again, he hasn't reached that because he hasn't played every game, right? He's been injured, all these different things. The most he's had in a season is 9.2, I believe, which he got, I think it was last year, believe it or not, with his 50-50 season, which makes that even more incredible because there was no pitching involved, right? But no, I mean, he backed up a 50-50 season by hitting 282 with 55 home runs and 20 some stolen bases. He averages, I think, over 162 games hitting-wise. His career average is 282. Which at this day and age, that's like his career average being like 320.
Well, it's the nights that he's pitching that's dragging his average down.
And
he hits 288 when he doesn't pitch, but when he does pitch, he's still hitting 276.
Yeah, so I mean,
it's pretty consistent.
And I think for 162 games, it was like 282, 45, 40 something home runs, and over 100 RBIs and 26 steals. I believe.
So Rain Man. Yeah. How many times did you look at this baseball reference? Like once. Take a glance at it. Yeah. 5.6 WAR.
Good Lord.
45 home runs, 106 RBI.
Yes.
26
steals. Yes.
282 average.
Incredible, right? Like just that is one of the greatest players ever, right? If that was just what you did, I don't even know if you can find someone that averaged that over a course of 162 games.
Yeah, and then pitching wise,
I mean, this is
so just add in
when
pitching.
he's
he has a 3.0 ERA for his career.
So he has 11. So just as of September 2025, Ohtani has 11 home runs as a pitcher in his career. So I mean, that's
he's like 39-20. Is that what his record is pitching? Something like that.
39-20. That's correct.
With a 3.00 ERA.
That's correct.
That's insane.
He started 100 games.
Crazy. And it's hilarious, but also very, very sad. Every pitch thrown, every ball that is just mashed, like I feel like makes the Angels look worse.
Well, I was just reading about the Angels because the Angels just hired Kurt Suzuki as manager, and so I guess Artie Moreno, I believe, is the owner, and he is. I mean, they've had 10 straight losing seasons, and
with
he's been
prime
criticized
Trout
for
and
so many
Shohei.
things, and I feel like rightfully so. And one of the things he was criticized with was the handling of Ohtani. So you had him, right? And you didn't trade him when you could have.
Nope.
And so, okay, so you don't trade him, but then you don't even match the Dodgers offer. So basically, you just give up, possibly, again, the greatest baseball player in the history of baseball.
Yeah.
You get nothing for him. And
you should have gotten an entire roster for him.
Yes.
He's literally as valuable as a roster. the fact
I mean, this game alone.
Ohtani and Trout, and you couldn't make the postseason is so shameful.
It's criminal.
Yeah.
It really is. Like, it's.
I mean, they have to be right
every year.
They have to be
Both
right
of them
up there
did.
with just one of the worst run organizations in sports. It's
It
got to be
has
like
to
the
be.
Angels, the Jets,
Browns.
the Panthers,
The Browns.
Angels,
the
Browns,
Browns.
Jets, Pirates.
The former Phoenix Coyotes, which they're now not. They're the Mammoths, so they're not poorly run now because they're under new ownership, but they would have been up there
Yeah.
with them.
The former Washington Redskins.
Yes, they would have been up there with them.
Yeah, the Dan Snyder era.
Yep.
Oakland,
Yeah.
because they were the eight. You know, I'm talking about the
Yeah,
A's.
the A's, not the Raiders.
And you could throw in the Raiders, actually.
Yeah.
And you could throw in the Warriors before they moved to San Francisco and got Steph Curry.
B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
B. Diddy and the Warriors.
Baron Davis. They
Yeah,
were
I mean,
terrible.
Jay Rich was on that
I mean,
team,
it's
Yes.
like it's just criminal negligence at the administrative executive level.
No, I mean,
I don't know how it happens. I mean,
But like, how
one,
many
we
teams
overpaid
of
for
how many
Pujols.
teams did we just list that could say we had arguably number 1 and number 2 best baseball players
Well,
or best players
on our
think about
on
this,
our
too.
team?
think about this too. Before when Trout started his meteoric rise, they had Albert Pujols,
Yeah.
who was arguably the greatest right-handed hitter ever.
Yes.
Like his numbers are stupid.
But even that
And then
was
you
turned
go
out not to be a
Pujols.
good contract.
Yeah, it was a terrible contract. And then Pujols to Trout to Ohtani, and you saw nothing. Rendon, maybe that might be the worst contract ever.
Yeah. Rendon, Josh Hamilton contract they gave. There's like Zach Cozart. That's another terrible contract that they gave. And don't even the pitching ones are just a laundry list of just garbage. Like
It's
they
always been terrible.
they have one of the things Moreno's been criticized for is meddling too much in the organization, the
What?
baseball part of it.
So is
a
that
la-
Jerry Jones?
A la Jerry Jones thing,
Jerry?
right? But at least Jerry Jones
Fuck
again
you,
was
Jets
a really
fans.
good offensive lineman for Arkansas. Like at least he played at a pretty high level, right? I don't know that much about Artie Moreno, but I don't know if he was playing at that type of level.
I heard Pujols
Right.
is in the running for the Orioles job.
I thought Pujols was gonna why did I see that he was supposed to be the Angels manager?
He was in the
Because
conversation.
Moreno wanted him.
He was in the
No,
conversation.
that was another thing. Like apparently Moreno's meddling too much in these things,
so
and
Moreno wanted him, and now
wanted
they
Pujols,
want
and
Suzuki.
talks broke down. I think Pujols was kind of like, I don't
Pujols was apparently fielding offers and having not offers necessarily, but was having conversations with the Angels, the Padres, and the Orioles.
Oh,
and
that's
then
right,
another-
the Padres
yeah.
got rid of Schultz, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, Schilt retired. Schilt said,
Forced.
this is the whole thing is too much on my health and my body and everything. Like it's time to walk away. 'Cause he's one of those baseball lifer type of guys who's been
Yeah.
like every part
I
of
mean-
an organization. Type. And but the last thing about Moreno too, I heard is that he wouldn't invest in like player development stuff. Yes.
What do you mean?
So
So,
what are
like
you
for
investing
for
in?
someone for someone who's not as in the know as me and maybe some of our listeners, what does that mean, Nick?
So it could mean like a myriad of things. Some of it could
Good
be
word.
like the advanced analytics departments that so many teams use now,
Mhm.
which we've talked about mixed feelings about. But each team that is successful has one. It has some sort of that department that they use something from that, right? They glean some sort of advantage or information from their analytics guys, right? That could be one. Another thing. Thank you. Another aspect of player development could just
Moneyball.
be, like minor league facilities and even their major league facilities, and even
Yeah.
like certain coaches and time for them to work or like allowing coaches to make certain decisions that enable a guy to develop, like in play like a certain guy at a certain time type of thing, right?
It is
It could be
right?
that
You
it could be
you
that
see organizations
simple.
like that are terrible, and then you see the Milwaukee Brewers. You went from Council to Murphy,
Pat Murphy.
and you got better. And Council did a great job. And there's something about that organization when they know how to.
Are the
deal
Brewers
with their
considered a
pitching
small
staff.
market team?
I'd have to think so.
Either small market or like mid market. They're definitely not a big market.
Yeah, they're
team.
not like in that like top 5 or top 10 like highest payrolls.
No. But they also aren't just purposely not getting people like the A's or the Rays or the Orioles.
Thank you.
Well, the Orioles do that out of
just
negligence.
Yeah, negligence and fucking spite.
I want to know like what happens in like
They have the 17th overall payroll.
A mid-market team.
I gotta know what happens in like the practices, the spring trainings, the locker rooms. Like what's going on in these organizations where everyone, and it happens in every professional sport. There are just organizations that suck, and everyone that makes it to the professional level is unbelievably good, right?
Oh yeah,
There's a reason why
every team is an all-star team. Every team is an all-star
why you're getting paid so much damn money to play these games. Like you can take and you see guys' careers get resurrected. I would say that the Browns and the Panthers, and like you see Baker Mayfield. The Panthers had Baker Mayfield playing scout defensive end at one point. He goes to the Buccaneers and he's an MVP candidate this year.
100%.
Like
he's a top 5 quarterback this year.
This guy was a Heisman winner.
Well, yeah, we've done this. Yeah, Daniel Jones is another one. Like
yeah,
so like I just got to know
criminally run
organizations, bad organizations like locker rooms and practices, and how do you run them? Because it has to be like drastically different.
Or would it be better to know how the good ones, like the Dodgers? I mean, think about for much as that the Dodgers, right? It's like the highest payroll ever and all those things, right? They still are full of guys who were not to say cast off, but I mean, and again, these couple guys aren't there anymore. But like Chris Taylor and Justin Turner embodied what the Dodgers built. Those guys were
well, and they replaced them.
Chris Taylor from
UVA.
Thank you. Those guys were cast-offs from their previous organizations, and the Dodgers knew they were like, if we can do this. Oh, Max Muncy, there's another one too. Max Muncy is one of the perfect examples, right? If we can change this little thing, that there are things here that this person can do, right? The Dodgers do that arguably better than anyone. That to me is that in your farm system
to succeed.
Are why they succeed. And again, every headline wants to be, well, they just bought Ohtani and Betts and Freeman, all this stuff. It's like, yes, but you don't win all the games. You don't have the sustained success that you have because of those guys.
Yeah, the Padres bought, at one point, they had Soto, Tatis, Machado.
Yes.
Like, that's as good as anything. Anybody.
Was Hosmer on one of those? No, he would have been gone by then. You're right. They had some other guys too. You Darvish on that team.
Oh yeah, you.
He's still on that. Like
Snell, right?
Snell's on that Snell.
Team. Blake Snell, that's a good one.
Right. I mean, you can't just go out there and buy a team. The Padres tried it before. Remember the
Mets?
Probably like 15 years ago. Was it? It might not have been that long ago. Maybe 10 years ago. The Padres went out and bought Craig Kimbrell and Justin Upton and James Shields and I think it was like a couple other guys. And they were abysmal. You can't just go out and buy players and say it doesn't work that way. So the Dodgers' sustained success is the fact that they they maximize the talent of every person that steps in that organization, and they have a well-developed farm system that is deep with talent as well. So if something happens, then you have to call up an Andy Pajes.
I looked at their pitching staff and the rotation, like. The amount of pitchers they use during the regular season is insane. And then the pitchers they have for the postseason and just using the starters, like it's incredible. They feel like the old Patriot dynasty and the new Chiefs dynasty where we can experiment. We like injuries happen. We'll lose some guys. We can experiment. We can hold some veterans. Kershaw, pitch whenever you need to pitch type of thing. And we're good enough to win the division and get to the postseason. And then when we get to the postseason, we have all of this like data, this material, everything that we need to succeed and just dominate in the postseason, and we'll do it. and everybody's healthy now. Everybody's fresh because some of these pitchers played half a season.
But they also have a manager who knows how to use and balance data versus what he sees on the field.
Yeah.
And you could say, well, anyone could manage the Dodgers.
That's not true.
It's not. Yes, it's one of those. Oh yeah, anyone could probably sit there and they make the playoffs every year.
Yeah, sure.
But not everyone could be the Dodgers manager and take them to the World Series every year, which is essentially at this point what Dave Roberts is doing.
It's kind of what he has to do too, because he was getting some shit for not getting to the World Series
and winning it. Yes. I was going to raise the other question too. If the Dodgers win the World Series this year, and it's an if. I know they're heavy favorites over the Blue Jays, but you still have to win the games, right? Mm-hmm. If they were to win, does this count as a dynasty?
No.
Or is it already a dynasty?
No, it has to be, 3 out of 4, right? Is that what we said, dynasty?
Does it? But we were using that as does it have to? Because if you look at the Dodgers, the last 10 years, or even 10 to 15 years, no one in baseball is even close to their success in terms of number of wins, playoff appearances. The only team that might be close to that is the Astros, right? That they have 2 World Series in that time. They won in 2020 in the shortened season, and they won last year, right?
Dynasties
so if they were to win this one,
championship. So
they are, but again, the Spurs, I don't think ever won 3 out of 4, 3 out of 5, but that was a dynasty. I'm sorry, you can't convince me otherwise that the Popovich, Ginobili, Duncan, Parker, even starting with the David Robinson, right? Tim Duncan's career, you couldn't tell me it's not a dynasty.
Then incredible success with the same core of players.
You need hardware and sustained dominance.
Yes,
I would say
right, because the
3
Spurs never won
in a span of 8 years.
But it also it's would you say the San Francisco Giants were a dynasty? They won 3 titles.
You talking about the Lincecum era?
5, right?
Yes, Buster Posey, Pablo Sandoval, Brandon Crawford, Brandon Bell.
The next year they won in 2012.
They were terrible.
Right, the next year they were terrible. Won in 2014. The next year they were terrible.
So I think it's also you also have to look at
2010, 2012, 2014.
Is that what it was? 10, 12, 14?
I feel like when you're talking dynasties, though, you also have to consider the league at the state of the league as well. What did the other teams around them look like? And let's look at that particular window in sports. And I think that also helps set the record straight about whether or not something would consider a dynasty, right? And what impact does that team have on that specific window or era of sports?
So I guess when you look at it that way, right?
The Warriors changed basketball when they went on their run. And I would say not just because of the hardware, but because of the impact that the Warriors had on generations of basketball moving forward would helps cement them as a dynasty.
But they also had enough.
They had the hardware to back it up too.
Winning for
if you're a dynasty, do you need a core of players?
Mm-mm.
See,
I feel like
I'd say consistency despite change.
No, but you need to have
the core of players, right? So the Dodgers.
Each dynasty is defined by
Ohtani,
the core.
Freeman, Mookie.
So you're saying that,
but
the
Patriots won with entirely different teams.
But
there was Belichick and Tom.
Yeah,
they had two separate ones. So the first one, your core group of guys were your Bruschi, McGinnis, Seymour, Rodney Harrison, Tom Brady. Right, those are kind
of. But outside of Brady and Belichick, though, I mean, it was pretty much an entirely different roster and coordinators.
No, but they went through that stretch of 9 years of not winning a Super Bowl, and then they had their second dynasty run where it was Brady, Gronk, Edelman, who else? Whatever. But that was their core. Was those guys. And then you have the Yankees dynasty run had the core of their guys: Jeter, Posada, Mussina, Pettit.
Mussina never won.
Pettit,
Bernie,
Rivera, Bernie. Yeah, those core guys.
Mussina never won a World Series. It's one of the most criminal things ever. It's good to see what his last year that he retired. By the way, won the most games of his career. Won 20 games, I believe, in his last year. Retired, and then I believe the next year the Yankees won in 09. Mm-hmm. But no, there has to be something, but you don't necessarily
Astros had a core.
They did.
Golden State had a core.
So you're saying the Astros it counts as a dynasty?
If this is the way we're looking at it, I would say yes,
because that
Spurs,
core.
because you're saying the Spurs were a dynasty, they had a core.
Well,
Yes, but that core with the Astros only won one and they cheated. The other World Series they won with Dusty Baker, not all those guys were there, right? Was Correa there?
Don't you think, like-
Springer was not on that team. He was not on that second one, I don't think.
Altuve and Bregman were.
Were they?
Don't
Was
you think
Correa
that,
on
like,
that team?
like
Correa, it may have been Pena at that point, but I'm not sure.
But what I'm saying, there has to be some sort of constant. It doesn't necessarily have to be you keep that core because with the Dodgers here, they're sustained success. Freeman, Betts, Ohtani haven't been on the team that whole time, but Dave Roberts has, right? And Dave Roberts has been there, and they would have guys again like the
Kershaw's
Jock
been
Petersons, the Kershaw, has obviously been there for all of it. Jock Petersons, Bellingers, Turners, Chris Taylors, Kike Hernandez has been there for basically all of it. Like they had guys that were there for a while, right?
don't you think that, like, when you're talking about dynasties, though, like, at the end of the day, like, we can, like, sparse it out and, like, try to define it and, like, categorize it. But, like, I feel like the best way to look at it is, like, it's just an eye test. I feel like an eye test is really, like, the best way to do it. Like, number one, hardware has to be there. And then after that, like, if the answer to that question is no, then no, it's not a dynasty. It's a what could have been. What should have been.
Braves.
You know, look at the
Braves.
Look at the Orioles with that Orioles with
won.
that juiced roster, right? We talk about it all the time. Like,
look
at all the Roy juicers.
Juiced
Yes.
roster in 03.
Oh yeah, no, I chose my words very.
Tejada, Jay Gibbons.
I chose my words very
Palmeiro,
deliberately there. Like, had that team
David Segui.
had that team brought home some pennants, yeah, we would say dynasty. But
Brian Roberts.
like
Brian Roberts is
hardware and then eye test, right? I feel like it's not that deep.
Well, I mean, but again, it brings the Braves, right?
Dynasty.
Do Bobby Cox's Braves count as a dynasty? They don't, right? Because they only won one. But then it's like, but you had sustained success and dominance really with a core.
With the core,
right? Chipper, Andrew, Smoltz, Glavine, Maddox. Like, they did as good of a core as you can ever. Like, all those guys. Again, Andrew Jones should be a Hall of Famer, but all those guys.
I think in baseball,
like, that's what, 5
consistent
Hall of
deep
Famers?
playoff runs with maybe a title sprinkled in here or there.
But
like,
you gotta win. You have to win multiple. Like, I think the Braves will never count as a true dynasty because they only won one.
Yeah.
Whereas, so the Dodgers have won 2, right? 20. But again, 2020, the first one they won was that weird season. So a lot of people, it counts in the record books, and 100 years from now, people won't give a shit. But for the eye test, as Kamala said, as it stands now, that was kind of seen upon as an asterisk, right? They still haven't won a real regular season title, and that finally came last year, right? A real full regular season title. So again, that begs the question: if they were to win this year, they go back to back. First team, I believe, in the MLB to go back to back since the Yankees won 3 straight, 98, 99, 2000. With that 2020 title, with the last 10 years of them being the winningest team in baseball, right? Does this not make them a dynasty?
So
you want to crown them? Crown them.
So, to settle that debate, you can have a great run like the 1990s Braves, but without multiple rings, sorry, not a dynasty.
Are you reading off of whatever AI bullshit?
Dominance without hardware is always remembered as what could have been, not a dynasty.
Well, yeah, those Cleveland baseball teams from the 90s were so good, and they never won a title.
Like, well, if we're talking about dynasties and we bring up the Braves and we're having that conversation.
This isn't real. This is AI.
I'm just saying. Like, it's,
see how many fingers I have?
Yeah. Anything else to add before we move on?
No.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's going to take us to our 3 strikes this week. Strike 1.
As we do every week during the college football season, we will do our college football winners and losers from this week.
Yeehaw.
Losers.
Miami.
L for love.
Change the locks again.
Losers. I am going to start here in the ACC with Duke.
Oh, yeah.
Losing to Georgia Tech, you were
favored.
That was almost a pick 'em. I think it was like a 2.5, 3.5 point spread. I think 3.5 maybe. But Duke at home, Duke was playing really, really well, and Georgia Tech, while winning games, wasn't looking. They weren't looking the best. Like they weren't blowing teams out, but they were winning games. Duke had a chance. Georgia Tech owned that game. They controlled everything in that game. So
Georgia Tech or Duke?
Georgia Tech.
Because Duke was in control. That fumble return for touchdown may be the most consequential fumble return this year.
Yeah.
Because
Duke was sitting at 3-0 in the ACC, and had a path, right. They
controlled it.
Hardest game, I think. Like they didn't. I don't know if they had to play Miami or not, but
they play UVA and they play Georgia Tech, so they played the favorites. So two teams that if you beat and you take care of your business, you could very well go undefeated and get the ACC championship. Yeah,
right. So Duke losing that game, I think, hurt them a lot. That's
by the way,
first loser. Yeah.
Georgia Tech moved to 7-0 on the season. First time they've been 7-0 since 1966. Pick up sticks.
The Rambling Wreck.
And I don't even know if they're in the ACC at that point, dude, because remember, I think I've told you this, they were a original member of the SEC, and they left the SEC to go to the ACC because the ACC was such a better football conference that they thought it gave them a better chance to win a national title by leaving the bad SEC to go to the great ACC.
How the turntables. So...
And essentially, I think it was a trade Georgia Tech for South Carolina. South Carolina was originally ACC.
I mean, you look at it now, ACC won it because Shane Beamer in South Carolina
Stank.
And moving on. Number 4 here, Texas Tech losing to Arizona State. Now, normally, as an undefeated team losing their first game against the previous Big 12 champions who are now 5-2 on the year and now ranked, and Arizona State got their quarterback back, Sam Leavitt, and Texas Tech actually was playing with their backup, and you only lost by 3 in Arizona State. Usually, I would say, what's the big deal, right? Not a problem. You're still in it. Who cares? But because of the AP voters and the SEC bias with everything in the college football playoff and all of this, they lost and moved from number 7 to number 14. That's why they're a loser on this week. And it's not because I'm saying they're a loser. It's because of the AP and the college football playoff that's going to screw them over. That's why they're a loser. They have to be perfect. And literally last week we had college football media people saying this team, this is a national championship contender. You lose one game by 3 on the road,
I believe it was 4.
Without your starting quarterback to the previous Big 12 champs, and you drop 7 spots. I don't get it, but that's the only reason why they're on this list.
No, it's the nature of the beast. It's also the nature of the fact that they haven't had sustained success previously, and that their roster is made up entirely of transfers from random other places. And to the eye, like that raises the skepticism that, maybe
I don't know.
Maybe they're not as good as X team that's had all these guys.
I don't know how we go from this team is legitimate national champion, like contender, to we drop them 7 spots. And
I think also with that too is if you're a legitimate national championship contender, like you're the truly top. Because I thought 7 at some point was a little low for them. They were really, really, really good. I still think they're really good, right? I think you drop so much because if you're seen as that good, even with a backup quarterback, you shouldn't lose that game. Even if, again, Arizona State's a very good team. Very good coaching. Sam Leavitt's a great quarterback, right? But I think the thought is you still shouldn't lose that game because for most of that game, they were getting pushed around.
Man,
I think that's
the Florida State.
Yes, but it's all about there's recency bias and all these things, right? It's about right now, who do we rank as this? And I think the thought process is if you're truly that great, you still don't lose that game even with a backup quarterback because the rest of your team's that good. Now, I buy 100% of what you're saying about it. It's really not a bad loss at all. by any stretch of the imagination. But you drop because just the way, because the other thing that's pushing them back too is like a Miami loses, which I'm sure you're going to bring up here in a second. Well, they are still going to have to stay in front of you, so you have to drop Miami, but Miami was already in front of you, so you can't be, like things like that where these teams lost and they dropped back, but they were ahead of you.
I actually don't have Miami on here because of the bias towards Miami. They're
like
fine.
how good Louisville is.
Even if they don't make the ACC championship game, they're still fine. If they go 11-1 and don't make the ACC championship,
yes, and their one loss is allegedly. I'll say it allegedly because
their name is Miami. Their name
yes,
is Miami.
But Florida State's name is Florida State, and they jobbed them 2 years ago when they went undefeated. Right,
that was when there was 4. That was when there was 4.
I know, but now it's still 12, right? I could totally see them putting a 2-loss like Missouri ahead of a 1-loss Miami.
I don't.
At number like 11, I could see that if certain things shape out the way they do.
Not with Miami. Miami is a protected school.
They
Miami's
are, but
the ACC's protected school.
But so is Florida State supposed to be. Clemson is the ACC's protected school.
Florida State was 10-2, 11-1. They would be protected. Florida State is garbage.
But what I'm saying is, again, they were undefeated and were not protected.
I understand that, but look at the other teams that were there too. It was Alabama, Georgia. Who else was it in that list?
Washington,
Michigan.
Yeah, but they weren't
Alabama,
protected.
Washington, Michigan.
The whole reason they weren't protected is because they said that their conference isn't as good and they don't have their starting QB. When in reality, that year the ACC had a better record head to head against the SEC. So,
and that tends to happen recently, where you look at records against each other and teams have better records. Like the Big Ten beat the hell out of the SEC last year. Anyway, we're gonna move on to the next loser. Speaking of Florida State, Florida State's on this list because they lost to Stanford. Usually, I wouldn't put them on this list because they're done. But you lost to Stanford, and it's hilarious, and it needs to be put on this list.
I watched the whole game. The whole game until 2 a.m.
Yeah, you love the tree. You love that Stanford tree.
I also drank coffee way too, like a spiked coffee.
I was gonna say the same thing.
I do drink.
As we mature, our beverage selection matures with us.
Has to be iced. Has to be iced coffee.
Oh my god.
Well, no, you drink hot coffee black, which is why.
He's your brother, Nick. Your brother's a masochist. Tell me how you drink your coffee. Go on.
Me?
Yeah, iced coffee.
Iced with some sweet cream and a little bit of milk.
You drink that Chobani creamer that your wife likes? I love that creamer. After Pinehurst, I started buying that.
It's good shit.
Drink it black like a man.
No, you drink it black if you hate yourself and feel like punishing yourself. Coffee doesn't taste good by itself. We like to enjoy our beverages.
Or you're like a 4-star general who's seen it all, seen some shit.
People that drink black coffee love telling people that they drink black coffee.
Yes.
Yeah, I drink black coffee and I drink bourbon neat.
It's the same
and
thing.
I pee with the door open.
Now, I had some coffee that I spiked with some Southern Comfort.
Hell yeah!
And the coffee had kept me up, and I couldn't sleep. I was just sitting there wide awake.
Which is wild because you are already an insane insomniac. If you
drink coffee, it's gonna hit you like a freight train.
Well, I drank it too late in the day because I went to Bobo's Fine Chicken. By the way, shout out to Bobo's.
Thanks, Bo.
And it was like a regular coffee or a large iced coffee. And the difference was like 70 cents. I was like, I'll take the large one. And it was a gigantic styrofoam cup that you put like a sweet tea in of coffee. God. It was like this big. And so I drank like half of it because it was gigantic.
Did Bo serve that to you?
No, I didn't see
I was about to say, for shame, Bo.
But no, that's what his stuff is in.
Like, yeah, I know, but that big of a coffee,
it's hilarious. And so
I understand as a business owner doing that, but you don't sell that to your friend. You just Nick. Maybe not.
I spiked the second half of it with the SoCo and had it in the afternoon. It was just way too late, and
that's an absurd amount of coffee for someone that doesn't drink coffee.
Mm-hmm.
No coffee after noon.
Yeah, so
You drink
so I watched that
espresso
whole game,
martinis.
and that was a fun game actually
It's an
because
Yeah, way
to,
more caffeine.
What like
No,
I
it's
forget.
it's just concentrate, but there's less liquid. It's just a nice little pick me up.
Good lord.
A nice Lavazza espresso. Cafe Bustelo.
But Stanford had to complete like a semi Hail Mary to set themselves up for. Gosh, was that game in overtime? I can't. Again, it was very late. So
Love completing a semi.
yes, but yes, literally caught the ball at the 9, and they get down and like spike it before the time runs out to set up either the tying field goal or the game-winning touchdown, something like that. It was wild, hilarious. Andrew Luck was down the sidelines, like yelling, look, pumping him up. I was like, this is awesome.
He's gonna figure it out too with Stanford.
Yeah, fucking figure it out.
There too. Figure it out. Andrew Luck, like you can see the vision at Stanford of what they want to do.
You know what? One guy just gave them $50 million. One guy.
Yeah, that seems.
One guy was just like, here's $50 million.
The like. I don't know, some executive.
He started some like venture capital investment company where they like leverage buyout
and pants
company certain other companies like AutoZone or Advanced Auto Parts, one of those.
They're venture capitalists.
The scholars
like
of the autos.
Advanced Auto Parts, I think, is one of the
movie was on
the things that they like own. Or whatever.
That's what matters to me most.
That's what matters to me most.
You know shit.
Yeah, you don't know shit.
Get your fucking ass back
Lama,
up on that altar.
All right, should we move on?
Yeah.
Should we move on to the number 2 loser.
Yeah.
We're gonna stay out in California. The University of Southern California Trojans.
Nice.
Now, when anybody gets Wood, they'll think of Trojan.
Mm-hmm.
Duh.
They lose to Notre Dame. This is a bad loss because now it gives them 2 losses on the year, and you need to win this game because Notre Dame that would have very possibly would have kicked Notre Dame out.
Yeah,
they would have had big time trouble getting in. Notre Dame is on the clear path now to get into the playoff. USC is on the outside looking in, and here we go again with Lincoln Riley. So,
well, would you say that Notre Dame's on the clear path? Because I have read stuff about. Even if they win out, right, and they go 10-2,
who did you read this?
A lot of sources are saying this. The fact that they won't have as much good wins, right? So yes, they would have lost to 2 top 10 teams in A&M and Miami, right, by a combined 4 points. Lest we forget that, right? But it's still about who you lost to and who you've beaten. And if USC implodes, well, that win's not that great. And then their next best win, kind of similar to last year, would be like Boise. Navy or Boise State.
Navy, Pitt's playing better. Syracuse, Stanford. Yeah, those games. They have to win out.
That's the issue. They have to win out. And when you look at it, yes, we've talked about this before. Good schedule. Like you're playing very solid teams your entire schedule, but you don't have any. Yes, you don't have those. The marquee win is eluding them, so it could push them behind like an SEC team with those 2 losses.
Yeah, but again, it's Notre Dame.
Like I know it's who you want.
You're gonna go 10-2, and they're gonna be like, well, how do we not put them in when their 2 losses are by 4 points to Miami and A&M, and A&M continues to win? So if Miami and A&M continue to win.
Well, that's the other issue. What if they don't? What if A&M loses 2 games? What if A&M drops 2? They could.
They possibly could.
You can't rank Notre Dame ahead of them because they beat them, right? That's where the issue becomes is that the teams that may bump them out are actually Miami and A&M because you can't rank Notre Dame ahead of them because of the fact that they beat Notre Dame.
That is correct. However, USC is a big loser. So, Lincoln Riley, USC, here we go again with there's so much talent. Why isn't USC ranked and all this stuff? Well, because they do stuff like this and lose games. And your number 1 loser of this week.
Drumroll, please.
Drumroll, please. Let's go to Southwest Tennessee, Memphis. Memphis loses to UAB. UAB trash. They just fired Trent Dilfer. Maybe that's what made them better.
I was thinking that too.
It probably did. But they lose 31-24 to UAB. That is a horrendous loss. Now, they still have USF this week.
And they play, I believe they have all those top teams in the American play each other at the end. Navy, yes. Tulane, North Texas, USF, Memphis. They're all essentially going to wind up playing each other in these last few games. So all of them are either undefeated or one loss.
Right. So you're still alive, but this did hurt a lot. This is a big time mess up by Memphis. Plus, also, if Memphis won that game, that should have been College Game Day. USF versus Memphis should have been College Game Day.
Oh yeah, that'd been sweet.
But instead, we go to another SEC school. And now it is Vanderbilt, which is cool. Gets to go to Vandy.
I think I will say, Boyd, just again, I think if it were not Vandy and another SEC school, they wouldn't have gone. They would have changed up and went somewhere else. But the fact that it's Vandy
at South Dakota, was it South Dakota State, North Dakota State?
Is that this weekend?
South Dakota, North Dakota. It's 1 versus 2 in the FCS.
That would be South Dakota State, North Dakota State. That's playing this weekend?
They should be there or at Cincinnati. That's kind of where I would.
Yeah, but it's hard to a chance to go to. Vandy. It's one of those schools. It's like UVA. The chance to go to. Vandy. They should have never went to Tuscaloosa for Alabama Vandy.
No,
that's the issue. They should never went to that game.
They should not have gone to Ole Miss, Georgia. They should have gone to the Holy War.
Yeah,
the Holy War was by far. But again, I
5 versus 9. The TV companies
I also believe it is these TV contracts.
Yes,
like Fox has the Big 12, Big 10. So they're at the Holy. They probably get first dibs at the Holy War. Right. That's
you just want. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it has something to do with it, right? You're not broadcasting the game. This doesn't behoove you as much now.
It's crazy that a few years ago we were going to Montana, we were going to JMU, we were going to these other schools.
I think they'll still do that. I think.
I'd love to see
again with the change.
There's more and you know what's bothering me about this, and I think what's bothering a lot of fans is that. There's so much parity in college football now. The last 2 years, the SEC is not the SEC of 5 years ago. There is so much parity that we still have to rank all these SEC teams. That's why they're on this, look at this ranked matchup. But we look at other schools that are 5-2. Every single school in the SEC that's 5-2 is ranked. It's kind of absurd.
I think also too.
We have to go to these things and the parity in college football should lend itself to going to all these other schools and enjoying what these other campuses are like. Now, last year they did go to Cal, and they went to a couple other spots, but
I think it's a perfect storm though too. It is, but it's also like I think the media thing has a lot to do with it at this point in time.
I do too.
Because with the changing landscape of college football, it's that much different now with your media deals. But I think it's also too we're in the just kind of cycle back of we haven't been to here in a couple years. We have, and so it worked out that way that those happen to have ranked matchups.
You've been to Athens.
I mean, yes, they go to those places a lot, but were they there? Do they go every year? It feels like it, but they may not be every year, right? And maybe we haven't been there in 3 years, so we might as well go, right? You know what I'm saying? That game I would have preferred if they went at Ole Miss, because when's the last time they were at College Game at Ole Miss? Was it the Katy Perry one, which is one of the most infamous ones on the Grove or whatever?
So, yeah.
Right? And so that would have made more sense. In that thing, but I think it's still we haven't been here. Next time we might as well go.
Yeah,
the Vandy one, you got to do it. You got it. You're right.
Vanderbilt, because you're showcasing Vanderbilt. My issue is the Alabama game and the Georgia game.
It's just
recycled. We just keep recycling these same two SEC schools.
Yeah, it felt extreme.
If you go to Missouri, that'd be great. If you go to Vandy, that's great. But you need to showcase some other schools.
I think
UVA will not get it this year.
I think the other issue too. I think if ODU hadn't lost before they played JMU, there actually I believe was a big chance from sources that they were going to go there.
Should have been number 1 on the list last week to go there. Absolutely made 0 sense on it. That was the best game, and it's just because their ranking wasn't 5 versus 9. It was 14 versus 24 or something like that. But it should have
15 and 23. But yeah, it's
whatever.
I think it's more the media thing, like you said.
And Memphis, USF, even though Memphis lost, you still could have made the case to go there.
Who are our winners?
Let's go to the winners. Yeah, I'm gonna get mad at all this. We'll start with JMU. JMU 63-27 over ODU. They scored
Huge.
It was like 45 unanswered points.
It was 27-21 ODU.
I thought it was 28-27.
No, it was 28-27 JMU. It was 27-21 ODU. And then JMU rattled off, what is that,
63-27?
Yeah, 42 straight points.
Something like that, yeah.
Literally, Jordan and I said something. We were watching it, and because that game was nuts. The start of that game, there was I think the opening kickoff was run back for a touchdown. There was several 75 to 80 yard touchdown plays, right? Just all back to back to back to back, right? It looked like this game was going to be 70-66, like the RG3 WVU game, right? And so
that wasn't
we'll
RG3.
get that Baylor WVU game was not RG3.
Nope.
Are you sure about that?
I will find it. I don't believe that was RG3. I believe he left the year before.
Okay, well, irregardless.
Oh my god!
Thank you.
Come on.
It was 27-21, and then look up, and I was like, literally 63-27. I was like, Jordan, what the hell happened? She's like, I don't know. The last time I looked at the TV, it was 27-21. So, I mean, it was like a blink of the eye. They scored 40 points.
Nick, there is no way you're getting who the starting quarterback was for Baylor that year. By the way, he threw for 4,300 yards that year and 33 touchdowns. His name was Nick Florence.
No.
Nope.
That really was. It wasn't RG3?
No, he was the year before.
That's it. Interesting. All right,
By
move
the way,
on.
this guy was the starter as a freshman. Then RG3 took over. And then he became the starter again in 2012.
All right, moving on.
Moving on, we'll go quick over this one because it's Notre Dame over USC again. We talked about it. Big win for Notre Dame. He went out most likely playoff. We talked about all that stuff. Moving on, Arizona State over Texas Tech. You are still alive for the Big 12 championship.
Yes.
All that matters is that you win the Big 12 championship. They're still alive. Big win there. Number 2, Louisville over Miami. Louisville still alive for the ACC championship. They did lose to UVA. That does make UVA look a lot better as well.
One more stat for Louisville. No one has more ACC wins than Louisville's head coach Jeff Brom since he took over the head coaching job in 2023. No one.
It's incredible. It's awesome. It feels almost like Tony Bennett in basketball.
Yes.
Doesn't it? Like you're not looking at this team until the end of the year and you go, what, they have this many wins? They're this good?
Yes.
Jeff Brown, his wins over top teams is incredible too. I think he's like 5-1 versus like top 10 teams.
With Purdue and Louisville combined, yes.
Yeah. So Louisville very much alive. That is a very good football team. And then your number 1 winner, BYU over Utah in the Holy War. Don't know why BYU doesn't have respect. They're undefeated. They're a great team to watch, by the way. They control every aspect of every game they play. And their quarterback is number 47, a freshman named Bear.
Yes.
And Jason Benetti, I don't know if you heard the call, but when Bear went in for a touchdown late in that game, he said, "There's a bear loose in Provo."
Yes, Jason Benetti's awesome.
It was such a perfect call. And I said it previous week, watching them play, they're going to use that quarterback Bear in tough situations, tough games. They will use him to get first downs, to get touchdowns. He's a great runner. They just don't want him to get hurt, obviously. But he's 6'2", 225, something like that, and he can move very well. That is a great runner. Their team gets better. LJ Martin at running back is awesome. He's my favorite running back this year. He is so good. I'm a big fan of BYU. Big fan of the way that team plays. So, Bear and BYU, big winners.
A couple last little stats for you. Vanderbilt, we talked when they beat LSU. Vanderbilt is 6-1 for the first time since 1950. They beat LSU for the first time since 1990. It's their second win versus a top 10 team in the last 2 years. They beat Bama last year. They had 2 such wins in the previous 48 years combined. And they have 2 in 2 years.
Yeah,
for UVA, they've after their 22-20 win over Wazoo, it's their first 5-game winning streak, first 6-1 start, and their highest ranking at I believe 16 in the polls since 2007 for the Wahoos. Texas A&M, first 7-0 start for them since 1994. And this last one here, SMU, they have won 20 straight conference games, 11 straight in the ACC, and they won their last 9 conference games in the American before they left.
That's wild.
20 straight. That might be the most wild one, so I saved that for last. Kamlo, strike 2.
Okay, strike 2. All right, so I want to talk about the baseball game last night. I want to talk about the Mariners and the Blue Jays. I don't necessarily want to get into any insane stats other than George Springer's home run. I mean, that's what every kid dreams of, right? I mean,
Yes.
The only way that home run could have been better is if it was a walk-off. Right? But it was an incredible game, super fun to watch. But I think what really caught my eye about that there you go. Plug the show. I think what really caught my eye
Spotify,
about
YouTube,
that
and
whole
iHeartRadio.
This is a Snapchat exclusive. But I think what really caught my eye about that whole thing was I stayed up and watched some of the interviews that were going on afterwards. Obviously, like, congrats to the Jays, congrats to Donnie Baseball, finally getting to the World Series finals. I mean, we were talking earlier, guys that just are Supreme Court justices to the sport. Every facet, every position, every role, Donnie Baseball finally getting to the World Series after all these years. But I don't know if you guys saw. Oh, there goes Stevie. I don't know if you saw it. He was texting me that he was having internet issues.
Pussy.
I don't know if you saw the interview. It's been making its round with Brian Wu. Did you see this? Welcome back. Brian Wu.
I don't know what was going on.
Brian Wu was giving an interview in the locker room after the game, and as you could imagine, everything was still very raw, very real. And someone asks him, what's going to be the story of the legacy of this team? And right after the question is asked, you can hear J-Rod screaming in the background, like blood-curdling, pissed off screaming. And Brian Wu just says that sums up the legacy to our team. And then you saw Cal Raleigh, you saw Big Dumper's interview afterwards. I don't know if you saw this or not, Nick, or Stevie, but someone asked Cal Raleigh what his thoughts and feelings on the season were, and he said our season was a failure. We expected to go to the World Series, we expected to win the World Series, and we didn't do that. Our season is a failure. And so those two things I think really just kind of like cut through, because while obviously none of us have felt the sting of losing a World Series or a bid to go to the World Series or Game 7 in a championship series, like the sting of losing, it just I appreciated the realness of it, right? I think we get kind of desensitized and like accustomed to the winning side of it, and the losing side of it doesn't really get enough screen time. And I think seeing those raw reactions just really, really resonated with me, and it just sucked, man. I wanted the Mariners to win. I wanted them to go. Again, hats off to the Jays, but it looked like everything was just coming up Mariners. And Stevie, you texted the group chat first when Springer hit that nuke. Just holy shit! Like summed it up, and like, oh my god, yeah, that was an emotional game, and I'm not even invested in either of those teams. You know what I mean?
I can tell you what Seattle's downfall was. Billy Mumphrey's downfall there.
Tell me.
Cockeyed optimist.
Yeah, cockeyed optimist. Their back end of their batting order
sucked.
Them through
7, 8, 9 had like an under 100 batting average
awful.
Or something.
And you saw it in that game. In the second inning, you had second and third, one out.
Was that the inning that Crawford bunted, sacked them over? That's a different inning.
It may have no,
Because
it
that
was different. It was the second inning. It may have been. I don't know. But all I remember is it's second and third, 1 out, and you have 8-9 up. The 8 hitter, the run needs to be scored, right? You have to at minimum get 1 run in. The 8th hitter strikes out, and the 9 hitter hits first pitch. Strikes out on 3 pitches, by the way. The 9th hitter first pitch hits a tapper back to the pitcher.
Yeah, that was So it was first and second, no outs after consecutive singles by Rosarina and Suarez, I believe. And then J.P. Crawford comes up and delivers a very nice sac bunt to move them over. And you had Rivas, whoever the hell that guy is, and Victor Robles, who was batting ninth. And that's what they did. I don't think it was the second. I think it was like the 4th inning.
No, that was the second.
No, because the second inning I thought was when Cal Raleigh ripped the first pitch grounder double play to Vladdy. I believe.
Rain Man might be right,
but yes, no, I agree that and they were winning at that point. I believe it was 2-1.
And
to get another,
I remember
it's the right decision to bunt Crawford to stay out of the double play, because I believe he hit into a double play earlier, or hit one right at the second baseman. He just kind of knew he was going to hit a ground ball, right? And right play, and it's like I was like, is that the right decision though? Knowing who's up next, like it was.
Yeah.
And on face value, it was the right decision, but then knowing that these two guys are up, like
someone's got to come through with
gonna make contact,
like ground ball up the middle.
Yes, I know, but
I remember watching and saying to myself that run could very well cost them.
Yes.
Even though a run in the 8th inning feels bigger, a run in the 2nd or 4th or whatever it is still incredibly important. Every run means something in the postseason, and to not get someone in there is horrific, and you lose by 1.
Yeah. Well, I will also go back to Kamlo's point about like the questions in the locker room about it being like a failure, like the candidness and rawness of their responses. I think it does remind us about, or supposed to be, why you play the game, right? You play to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Herm Edwards, right? And that we often get, like you say, get too much in the winning aspect, but we also get caught up too much in the almost like, well, it was good enough. You were runner up, or you were this. Like, it should sting to not accomplish your end goal and to not win everything.
Only one team wins.
Yes, it should hurt, but I feel like too often we get satisfied with, well, you know what, I did just sign a $100 million contract. I got my bonus. It's good enough, you know. And yeah, on a lot of levels, yes, I would love to have a $100 million contract and come in second every year, right? That sounds great on the face of it compared to what our lives are now, right? But at the end of the day, if you're in that profession, right, your goal or just your baseline should be to not be satisfied with that and to only be satisfied if you win the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it actually speaks to kind of the professionalism and the process of where that organization's at and the players they have, that this is their reaction yes, you're obviously going to be disappointed you've lost, but to be disappointed with the fact that, you know, as great of a season they had, one of the greatest seasons in the history of that franchise, right? To still say that we are not satisfied, we are not done, that's good. Like, it's not just lip service, right? That's a thing that hasn't been in Seattle for a long time.
And this is
because
a guy like
Seattle, a winning season would have been having a winning record.
Like Cal Raleigh, and I don't think I mentioned this earlier. Like, when he gave that interview, he was visibly crying, visibly crying. Mike stuck in his face, and like with like tears on his cheeks.
Good.
The season was a failure.
I need more of that.
Yes, I agree.
Professional athletes, I need more of that. I love it.
Yeah,
that means they
give a shit.
They
mm-hmm.
they give a shit.
It's
not like, let me go to the next team and get my contract, and I'm gonna
I'm just gonna opt out here, and I'll
opt out, and I'll
get
$100 million or whatever, and I don't care.
What were you?
I love that they were so pissed off and passionate,
dude, and the fact that it was J-Rod screaming when he was the final out of the ninth, and he struck out swinging on a bad pitch to go chase.
I mean, the future's bright there.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I mean,
yes, it
obviously
is.
They're disappointed, and they should be.
Yeah.
But,
yes.
What was the double play you were asking about, Nick?
Cal Raleigh, the second inning, I believe, that he hit into that double play.
Let's see.
And that the bunting was, I thought, the fourth inning where Rivas and
Cal Raleigh
was
didn't
game.
get up in the second inning.
Like, was that the first inning then?
Yeah, Cal Raleigh, J-Rod doubled to deep left. Cal Raleigh strikes out swinging on a foul tip. That was the one that I think he foul tipped it and went right into the catcher's glove.
Then it must have been the third inning he hit into the double play. And then the fourth inning would have been the bunting.
Cal Raleigh grounded out to first in the third inning.
Yeah,
that was right after J-Rod homered.
Cal Raleigh hit into a double play in that game.
Was it not the first?
Whatever.
Let's see. Struck out swinging, grounded out to first. Was that the ground out to first?
J-Rod grounded into a double play.
I believe the second inning was what I was talking about.
Whatever. All right, strike three.
Oh, yeah, golly. Sorry. Okay, strike three.
It was the second inning, by the way.
Okay. We had to get in there. I'm going with the Giants-Broncos game, which is an all-timer, by the way.
That's a fucking heater.
The Broncos were shut out for the first 3 quarters of that game, only to score on their last 5 drives in the fourth quarter alone, and Will Lutz hit a walk-off 39-yard field goal as Denver defeated New York 33-32. The Giants led 26-8 with a little over 5 minutes left in the game, but Denver rattled off 22 points in about 3 minutes' time to actually take the lead, only to see Jackson Dart plunge into the end zone with about 37 seconds left for the go-ahead touchdown. However, the Giants missed the point after. This was their second miss of the game, and that set up Lutz's game winner as time expired to win by 1 point, which is just insane, right? So the Broncos' 33 points in the fourth quarter are the most in the most in NFL history by any team that was shut out for the first 3 quarters. Quarterback Bo Nix became the first player ever to run for 2 scores and throw for 2 touchdowns in a fourth quarter. So he did that all in that quarter. The Broncos' 33 points in that quarter are the second highest in NFL history, behind only a 34-point display by the Detroit Lions in a 37-27 win over Chicago in September of 2007.
I would have guessed 2007. That was the first. Wow.
Right? Okay. And this is the best one. NFL teams had won 1,602 consecutive games when leading by 18 points in the final 6 minutes of a game. 1,602 consecutive games. That's an all-timer. That's an insane, unfathomable.
The video of Jackson Dart on one knee, just covering his mouth, looking at the scoreboard, just in disbelief at the end of that game, is one of the funniest things. Because people were like, "Oh, yep, welcome to New York Giants football." There, Dart.
Yeah,
it still blows my mind when you look at the box score. It makes looking at the box score is like right. It's like 7, not like the Giants, because they went into that fourth quarter leading 19-0, right? You look at the box score, right? It's like 7-0 after the first quarter or whatever, 14-0, whatever it is, right? And then you see 33 drop in that fourth quarter. It's like it almost doesn't seem possible. Like, I don't understand how they could have done it. Like, I feel like if the Giants took a knee on every play, they would have had a better chance to win in that fourth quarter.
100%.
Out of the game.
Right? Like
it's a brilliant move by Red Bull U.
That's how insane that it just doesn't make sense. And that's why we watched.
That's the crazy thing too, is that it wasn't like the Broncos were scoring off of like turnovers or anything. Like the Giants scored too in that. Like that was an insane. Yes. Like
the Giants scored.
You blinked and you missed. You blinked and you missed 2 scores. It was an insane quarter of football. Absolutely insane.
It just doesn't. It doesn't seem possible. Looking at that, I go, how the hell did they have enough time? To score 33 points?
It's called the witching hour.
Oh, thank you, Scott Hansen. Shout out.
Weird things happen.
It's called the witching hour.
Yeah,
Scott Hansen, you beautiful devil.
Yes. Yeah, that's crazy.
It's insane. I believe our father wanted us to mention the other notable Giants collapses in NFL history. First one he wanted to mention was Jeff Pisarcik fumbling the snap when he goes to take a knee. And Boy, do you know who it was that picked up the fumble and returned it for a touchdown for the Eagles to win that game?
Vince Papale.
No, Herm Edwards. Herm
Oh
Edwards
shit!
picked up the fumble. The original miracle at the Meadowlands.
Yeah,
Yes, that's Herm who picks up that fumble when Pisarcik literally drops the snap when he's going to take a knee, right? That's the first miracle at the Meadowlands. The second one was
the 2003 NFC wildcard
game against the 49ers where they blew like a 20-point lead in the fourth quarter.
39-38 to the 49ers. I'm reading his text message.
Yes, and I don't need to read it. The third one was the miracle at the Meadowlands 2 when they were up big in the fourth quarter. And I remember this one, like this is the Deshaun Jackson when he returns the punt for a touchdown.
Yes.
This is like memory burn in my brain. I know exactly where I was. The boy was playing some sort of sport on that day. He had some sort of game. And so the old people went to the game with the boy, obviously, right? I stayed home, and I was sitting on the couch, and the old man, again, this is before smartphones, is texting me asking for updates on the game because I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm like, oh, the Giants are kicking their ass, like, oh, this and this. And then I start texting them, they're down by 14. They're down, or, Eagles are down by 7. And I go, they just lost the game. It's like, what? I like literally watching it happen. I was like, this is insane. And another story with it, good friends from college, the Schwartzes, they took their father to that game. Like they bought special tickets in like a box for his birthday. He had like a 50th or 60th birthday, right? It was a special birthday. So it's the 3 brothers and the dad, and they're in the box. And in the fourth quarter, the dad brings all the kids over and he goes, boys, this is one of the greatest days of my life. This is so special. Thank you so much for doing this. We get to watch all this together. I love it. And all the events unfolded, and they said their dad didn't say a single word from the second that happened till they got home. The entire time leaving the stadium in the car, dad didn't say a single word after that happened. Boys, this is one of the greatest days of my life. And then nothing, because the Deshaun Jackson kicked the ball out of bounds, doesn't kick it out of bounds, fumbles it and returns it for a walk-off touchdown. Was that insane? So this goes right up there. It is just as unfathomable as all of those collapses. And
Deshaun Jackson out of
Cal.
Yes, he is.
Yep.
He was on the cover of NCAA 11.
Anything else before we move on to our favorites?
No, that's good.
So that'll take us to our favorite segment, brought to you as always by One Legacy Title and Escrow in Jacksonville, Florida. Follow them on Instagram at One Legacy Florida and visit them at onelegacyflorida.com to see how they can help you with your next house closing. One Legacy Title and Escrow, because your legacy matters. And this week we went with a list that was actually inspired by NBC's Todd Blackledge when I was watching the Notre Dame USC game, and he had a list of, like, not necessarily his favorite or top college football rivalries, but basically the college football rivalries that must, in his opinion, must exist to keep college football, basically is what his point was. Like the essential college football rivalries. So we decided to go with what are our essential or top college football rivalries that must exist to keep the sanctity of college football alive. Who would like to start?
I'll go. Your guys' lists are going to be better than mine.
Allegedly.
Probably. All right. Honorable mention, I'm going Harvard-Yale.
I almost went with that. I like that.
Harvard-Yale, I like that because there's always been hilarious pranks that happen, and it's just kind of like a big nerd bowl. I like it. Big bowl of nerds. Harvard-Yale, honorable mention. Number 5, I'm going to go Auburn, Alabama. I think that one's a classic. That one's really fun. Like I've said time and time again, I'm not a huge college football guy. I'm trying to be better, but I do have some fun times and memories of watching Auburn, Alabama with some friends at Radford, and so that was a good time.
Go Highlanders!
Yeah, go Highlanders! Football team undefeated.
Or you say they're defeated.
Yeah. If they had one, they would be. Yeah, so Auburn, Alabama in the 5 hole. Number 4, I'm going to go Texas, Oklahoma. I just think that's just 2 pivotal college football schools. And that's all I'm going to say on that. Number 3, I'm going to go Backyard Brawl. Stevie got me sold on the Backyard Brawl. Love the name. I have friends that love Pitt. Stevie went to WVU. It's a good time. It's fun to watch it, to have something to talk with Stevie about. So, yeah, give me Backyard Brawl.
That's all we've got this year.
Yeah, it's all you got. Yeah, it's all you got. I mean, but like, and that's a good segue into my number 2, which is Michigan, Ohio State. I don't really think that there's a more ingrained rivalry, in my opinion, than Michigan, Ohio State. If you could have a great season at one of those schools, and then if you lose that rivalry game, your season's a failure.
Yeah.
And I think that is just paramount to anything when you're talking about the importance and the signature and just the wonder of a rivalry game. And I do think that my number 1 is just the ultimate embodiment of that. I'm going to go Army Navy. That one I have tremendous and wonderful and just a plethora of memories from those games. I mean, the alumni that show up for these games, the students, cadets, midshipmen that show up for these games and get into physical altercations, and it's just expected and it's part of it. And it's not just, and yes, we're talking college football now, but that's a school that turns it up for every single sport. It doesn't matter if it's baseball, lacrosse, basketball, football. That is just a rivalry that is just deeply ingrained in the student body and the athletes that are competing. So give me Army Navy in the one hole. Go Navy, beat Army.
I like it. Yep. I like that. Boy,
that's a great list.
Thank you.
I'm with you with a lot of these.
Hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah, a couple.
Mine is very similar too.
Yeah. I mean, well, this is the sanctity.
No, it should be right. If it truly is essential, then it should be kind of consensus amongst most college football fans what their essential ones are.
Absolutely. I'm with you. Red River Shootout as one of my honorable mentions.
Yeah, I had a feeling that would be on yours.
It's a great name, and it's always what I love about some of these rivalries is that anything could happen in these given games, right? When Oklahoma is really good, somehow Texas wins this game. When Texas is really good and Oklahoma is having a down year, somehow Oklahoma wins the game. It happens like that all the time, and it's wild. It's always played at the Cotton Bowl. It's always in the same spot
during the year. Texas State Fair.
Yeah, Texas State Fair. It's always at that time. It's a great rivalry. It needs to be protected.
Mm-hmm.
The next one, the third Saturday in October. So not the Iron Bowl, but this is Alabama versus Tennessee, which Nick Saban has said this was a bigger rivalry than Auburn. They hate each other, and there's some fighting over who owns Dixieland Delight. That's a big part of this rivalry as well. But the third Saturday in October, by the way, whoever wins smokes cigars, which is always cool.
I also was talking about this with people. It didn't dawn on me when I was watching it, but someone was like, how'd they let them start smoking those cigars in the stadium? And their response, because I work with the Alabama fan, was, well, it's Alabama, Tennessee. Yeah, who's going to stop them?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
where else are you going to smoke it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I didn't even think anything of it when I watched it. I was like, oh, yeah, the cigars, right? And then someone's like, wait, how'd they get lighters, cigars in a stadium? Like, I can't just light up my cigarette in a random, like, Tennessee North Texas game.
Dude, that would be so funny though to see like everyone smoking cigars and then one person lights up a cigarette. So, hey, you get that shit out of here! Like, security, get this guy! Like
that would be hilarious.
That's a Family Guy skit. Sorry, go ahead, Stevie.
The next one, this game was played in Ireland this year, which actually kind of bothered me a little bit.
Yeah,
Farmageddon, Kansas State and Iowa State. One, it's a great name. Two, it's been played for over 110 years. That's part of the reason why I think it should stay. And they're actually, I think, it's not a protected game. And Kansas State, Iowa State, when you're Farmageddon and your teams are typically pretty good. I mean, I know Iowa State had a ways to go to get there, and Matt Campbell has done a great job in making them a competitive team. And Kansas State's always an underrated team. That's a fun rivalry that I always look forward to watching. So Farmageddon, I want that to say. Number 4, Michigan, Ohio State, the game. Right? It's called the game. Like, I mean, enough said. That's pure hatred.
Yeah.
Michigan, Ohio State.
The game.
Moving on, the Holy War. BYU, Utah. What a fantastic game that is. Great name.
Mm-hmm.
The Holy War is probably the best name.
It's a top tier name.
Yeah. They were able to do color rush uniforms.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome. I was going to say that was such a good touch because USC UCLA does that. too now, where like they each wear the blue and the red because their colors contrast so much. It's not an issue. I love that they were able to do that, where you had no problem telling who was who.
All
like
blue and all
yes.
red. It was awesome. That is such an awesome game, and these are schools that are really good as well. BYU, Utah, like there's a history of there being very good football schools. The next one, Backyard Brawl, as if I wasn't going to have that on my list. West Virginia, Pitt, another game where if West Virginia is really good, somehow Pitt wins. If Pitt's really good, somehow West Virginia wins. That is one of those things where it's a toss-up no matter what. Throw out the records, and you're going to brawl. Is such a perfect name. If you're not familiar with it, Pittsburgh and Morgantown are less than an hour and a half apart.
Oh, yeah.
And number one, Army-Navy. Has to be Army-Navy. Needs to happen every year. Will happen every year. It's always... I also love that it's a solo game.
Yeah.
That day. That is it. You were watching Army-Navy. You have the jerseys that go with it, the helmets, the stories, the lead up. All of it is so good. You just sit there and you watch it all day. Army-Navy is the most protected game, and it has to be. I'll hang up and listen.
I like it. So I have one honorable mention. I actually had nixed Harvard Yale as one of my honorable mentions, but I'm glad you mentioned that, Conlo.
Yeah.
I only nixed it because they're FCS, right? And yes, as great as it is that we're talking about the FBS staying relevant, right? My honorable mention is Ole Miss, Mississippi State, the Egg Bowl.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And I will say, before I get into any more of this, I did give preference to games that are always played on the same day. Kind of like how you said, third Saturday in October. Every single year that is Alabama, Tennessee. Like, it doesn't change, right? I gave preference to things like that where it is always on the same day, because to me that makes part of the rivalry. Like, that's part of the tradition and really the sanctity of that is that every single year we're playing on this day. Everyone in our fan bases and our respective universities knows this is going down, right? And so Ole Miss, Mississippi State, the Egg Bowl is always played on Thanksgiving Day, right? I think for whatever reason, last year, the year before, was played on the Friday, which to me was criminal, because for as long as I remember, and even if you look up the history of that rivalry, it's always on Thanksgiving Day. And normally it is the only college football game on Thanksgiving Day, right? And when you talk about anything can happen, that game is always so wild and so crazy. It's nuts. Like, that is, yeah, it is also, again, one of those ones where it doesn't matter what happens that whole year. If you could be to win Mississippi State and you can beat number 5 Ole Miss. Like, you can. Like, it can happen. Like, it's not a realm possibility, and it's just crazy things happen in that game, and it's so college football to me. Number 5 is the Backyard Brawl, WVU versus Pitt. And for a lot of those same reasons as Ole Miss, Mississippi State, right? But one thing that I'll highlight that is similar with Ole Miss, Mississippi State is the fact that the people in WVU, they don't have a professional sports team the same way those people in Mississippi do, right? So that game matters so much to them because they don't have a whatever professional team to root for. And the difference, though, is that dichotomy, and that's another thing I like, is the public school from the coal mining city or state versus Pitt, I believe, is a private school in the city that has all these very successful sports teams, right? There is a huge, drastic difference between that. And that's why I love that. I think that's a big part of what makes it such a great rivalry is that it's that, dichotomy means, two separate, very different things, right? Thank you. Of that. And that is what makes that such a pure, just college football game. Just the natural hatred that is created based off of their existence. That's why, and based off of the fact that, again, the lack of professional sports teams where this is their thing, right? Number 4 is Texas, Oklahoma, Red River rivalry.
It's
like,
you guys shootout. Just call it the Red River shootout.
That doesn't matter. Again, like I said, it happens every year during the Texas State Fair at the Cotton Bowl. To me, that again, boom, done. Like that's so cool. To me, that is happening at the same time in the same place every year. And like you said, boy, the fact that it's two of these standard teams, right? The state universities that border each other, right? Separated by that river. It's very cool. It's cool to see the stadium where it's like half it's burnt orange, the other half is like crimson.
It feels almost like
the Rose Bowl.
Game.
Yes.
Yeah, Rose Bowl.
The pageantry with it, it's really cool that they do that.
That's a bucket list item.
Yes.
I think the Red River Shootout is a bucket list item. That's so cool, and it's storied.
And I believe it's
programs.
always played at noon too.
Yes. I believe so as well. But why do I think it was at like 3:30? And I was like, why is that 3:30? But I believe you're right. It should be always at noon.
I think it is. I think it. Yeah, you may have to double check, but I think that again, that's part of the tradition that I love with it. Number 3 is Alabama Auburn, the Iron Bowl, and I totally buy what you're saying, boy, about how a lot of Alabama people hate Tennessee more. But you go back to that. You're going to use UVA where the dichotomy or whatever.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing, right? The private school in Auburn, the smaller school versus the big public school in Alabama. Alabama's not that huge of a state, still pretty big, but they can't be separated by that many hours of driving. That they hate each other, and the fact that anything can happen in that game. It does not matter how bad one team is versus the other. Either of those teams can win that game, and you wouldn't be shocked, right? And that always something crazy happens in that game. Like what was it, a couple years ago? Like the 4th and 37, Alabama completed that pass on, which is that just so stupid. Like that is typical Alabama Auburn. The kick 6, right? I know exactly where I was when I watched it, right? Like those things happen in Alabama Auburn. Number 2 is Michigan.
2 hours and 45-minute drive.
Yeah, Michigan Ohio State is my number 2. The big game is what it's called, because the game I believe is Cal Stanford, which almost made my list because of the iconic band is on the field thing, right? And how which is ridiculous. The great commentator Rod Gilmore was on the field for Stanford.
Oh, really? That's
yes.
Awesome.
But yeah, Michigan Ohio State, the big game, that's always played at noon. By the way, when they play it on that Saturday after Thanksgiving, like Kamlo said, doesn't matter what you've done the whole year. If you win that game, it's everything. Like think about how absurd it is that last year, after Ryan Day lost that game, they were asking for his head on a platter, and then he wins the national title. That is college football. That is so illogical, right? Just because he's lost 4 times to Michigan, that this is unacceptable. Like that's college football, and that Michigan Ohio State, especially with the pedigree, like the 2 of the greatest teams and programs in the history of college football, to always meet like that every year. It's so cool, right? And number 1 is Army Navy for all the stuff you guys said, right? And I love the quote. I forget what his name was. The former Notre Dame lineman who's a commentator for CBS Sports. He said that game is the antidote to the disease of me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty, like, it exemplifies the whole student athlete, the amateurism, all those things about it are, created in that moment in that game. And like you said, boy, the fact that it's a standalone game, I believe it's always at 3:30 on that day. It is the perfect celebration of our country and college football and everything that, us as fans want it to be about. And it is very cool that the fact that they play it at these big NFL stadiums now with all the pageantry that goes with it. It is
it's always an East Coast stadium as well.
Well, why would you not with the schools? I know you're saying there's military bases all over. Like you could play this in San Diego.
Right,
I get it, but
there's always a chance for snow.
Yep.
Because we've had that before, but it's always in like Philly, New England, Baltimore, DC.
Yes.
Right, and it's always that that December day.
Little northeast corridor that could
And there's a chance for snow, and it's like I think Philly a couple years ago it snowed.
I think the Blue Angels game when Navy had the Blue Angels jerseys, it snowed.
Dude, I remember
so cool in the snow.
We were in we had to have been in like 5th or 6th grade, I think, and there was a pretty decent snow. And Army Navy was on. I remember Dad made a big old pot of chili, kept it on the counter, a bag of Fritos next to it, sour cream, cheddar cheese, and he happened to be, remember, like you said, 3:30 every year. He happened to be like just near the front of the house, and the mail got delivered, and he like yelled out to our mail lady, it was like, "You want to come in for some chili? Watch the Army Navy pregame," and like just invited like Dad loved making a huge song and dance about it, and like I talk to my dad pretty frequently, but there's several things that I call him on Father's Day, I call him on his birthday, I call him on the Marine Corps birthday, and I call them on Army Navy Day.
Just again,
Those 4 are guaranteed. But
some
like
context and perspective, Kamala's dad is a Naval Academy graduate who's in his baseball team is in the Naval Academy Athletics Hall of Fame as the first team ever to make it to the NCAA tournament, and he took his assignment into the Marine Corps. After he graduated. Just again, some context.
Correct. And so. Yeah, like I said, talk to my dad obviously throughout the year and see him quite a bit. But those 4 days are guaranteed. Army Navy Day is a guaranteed phone call, and it always ends "Go Navy, beat Army." That
hilarious.
He bought me a shirt one year that was like one of those old like political cartoon looking shirts, and like I couldn't remember what it said, but it definitely had like the Army like donkey mascot referred to as an ass or something like that. Like
you're not wrong.
Like we show up to battle on a battleship, they show up on an ass or something like that. Something stupid. Like
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. So we're going to move on to our final segment, which is what to look for. Brought to you as always by VB Cookie Co. Looking for the perfect way to stand out at the next event you're hosting? Well, custom cookies are a timeless way to have everyone still buzzing even after they leave. Look no further for your cookie needs than VB Cookie Co. Follow them on Instagram at VB Cookie Co. and message them to order yours today. Whether it is a bridal shower, birthday, engagement, or baby shower, their team will work with you to make all your cookie dreams come true. VB Cookie Co. for the sweetest moments. Kamala, give the people something to watch for.
Outside of obviously the World Series, right? The World Series final starting of Dodgers Blue Jays. It is hockey season. I've seen enough clips of crazy shit happening. We were watching a Tom Wilson clip before the show started. Hockey season's here, and I'm fired up. Brad Marchand's already doing Brad Marchand shit down in Florida. Tom Wilson is laying people out. Right now. Yeah. And it's
brawl, by the way, this game.
It's wonderful. I'm so excited. I couldn't be happier. Hockey season's here. So if you're not a baseball fan, if your NFL team is some cheeks and there's nothing on for college, put on some NHL, tune in and enjoy yourself, because NHL is just some of the best games of the year. Best games of the year.
Boy.
Again, besides the World Series, because I think we'll all be watching that.
Yeah.
Going to college football. These 2 teams are terrible this year. However, there are 2 Coal Rush games.
You're terrible.
This Saturday. West Virginia. And can you name the other Coal Rush game?
You said the team's terrible? They're coal?
They are favored in this game, but they're not very good this year.
Is it like Kentucky?
No. Look west.
It's Colorado?
No, I mean...
Wyoming.
Produces the most coal in the country by
Do they
lot.
really?
Oh, it's like they produce like 41% of the coal. It's insane how much coal they produce. I've actually been to a Wyoming coal mine, and it's unfathomably big. Like, it's insane how massive their coal mines are. So there is a Wyoming coal rush. They made special jerseys for it this year, and West Virginia is doing their coal rush as well. Both doing it on the same day, which is interesting.
That is.
But yeah, so special jerseys, both night games. Obviously, you have to have a night game with the coal rush. It's a spectacle. It's awesome. It celebrates the coal miners of this country and what they do, and coal keeps the lights on. So awesome! I almost had my piece of coal. I forgot to bring it down.
Coal keeps the lights on.
Yes, it does.
I like that.
Yep.
Nick?
Very good. So the sports equinox is going to happen on Monday, October 27th. So the sports equinox is when there is a game happening from the MLB, NHL, NBA, and NFL all on the same day. So this coming Monday, you will be able to watch all of the 4 major North American sports on that same day. It's called the sports equinox.
What the Quad Box is made for.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's happening again, October 27th. This coming Monday is the sports equinox for this year. So I thought that was kind of wild. Very cool.
That is pretty exciting.
Everyone should, no matter what they feel about any of those sports, tune in for at least a minute or two to say you've watched all 4 that day.
Yeah. I mean, if you're listening to us, then odds are that's something you would enjoy.
I agree. All right, so that's going to do it for us here at What Caught My Eye, or WCME Sports. As always, for the boy Stephen Vesci and the man Stephen Comlow, I am the coach Nick Vesci. Don't forget to follow us on all of our socials on X, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, Snapchat, and Threads at WCME_sports. Our episodes drop every Wednesday at noon on Spotify, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. And all that information can be found on our website, WCMEsports.com. Reminder, be decent to each other, have a good one, and we will see you next time. Take care, Guatemala.